Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I welcome you all here in your mathematics class of grade 4. So, who am I? Yes, I am your mathematics teacher, Miss Amara. I hope, my dear students, you all are fine and safe. And I hope you all are enjoying fractions. Yes, dear students, this is an interesting topic. In today's lesson, we have to learn about the commutative property or the commutative law of multiplication of fractions. So now you people are thinking that what is this law? So just hold down, dear students, as today we shall learn about that. And in our previous classes we had learnt about the multiplication of fractions. So this law or property is related to the multiplication of fractions. Before, let's go through the objectives of our today's lesson. After this lesson, we shall be able to define commutative property of multiplication of fractions. We shall be able to provide the formula for the commutative property of multiplication of fractions. So, answer of your question that what is the commutative law of multiplication of fractions. So dear students, this law states that the product of fractions always remains same even if we exchange their positions. Let's see by an example. You can see that here we are multiplying two fractions and on the other side we have just changed their places. So according to this law, it states that when you multiply these two fractions, you will get the same answer on both the sides. So let's prove that. Is it correct? So as you know that in the multiplication, numerator is always multiplied by the numerator and denominator is always multiplied by the denominator. So when you multiply, you get 1 upon 32 on both the sides. So dear students, let's talk about the commutative property of fractions. As you know that today we are learning about commutative property of multiplication of fractions. And as already I told you that this is related with the multiplication. You can see that here I am multiplying 2 and 3 and we get the answer as 6. And if I multiply 3 by 2, then also I will get the answer as 6. 2 and 3 are called the whole numbers. So, it means that commutative property of multiplication is same for the whole numbers also. Now, let's try this property for the fractions. Here we are taking the fractions as 8 upon 9 multiplied by 1 upon 3. So, both the fractions are multiplying. As you know that whenever we multiply the fractions, numerator will be multiplied with the numerator and denominator will be multiplied by the denominator. So 8 times 1 is 8 and 9 times 3 is 27. Let's mark the line and on the other side just change the place of both the fractions and then multiply. So 1 upon 3 multiplied by 8 upon 9. So in the same way, for the multiplication, we have to multiply 1 by 8 as both are the numerators, 3 by 9 as both are the denominators. So 1 times 8 is 8 and 3 times 9 is 27. So dear students, you can see that even if we change the place of the fractions, then also the answer will be same. It does not affect the fractions. Like here we change the place of both the fractions and we get the same answer on both the sides. So now let's check if we change the place in multiplication of 3 fractions, then how we can solve it. As by the commutative property, it is proved that we can change the place of fractions. So here we have 3 fractions. So dear students, as you can see that first we have to multiply 2 fractions and the answer we have to multiply in the third fraction. So you can see that the first fraction and the third fraction will be easy for us to multiply, as 3 and 6 they both can be cross cancelled. So according to the commutative property of multiplication of fractions, we can exchange the place of the fractions. We can write this fraction at the place of 2 upon 7 and like this 1 upon 3 multiply by 6 upon 5, and now 2 upon 7 we can write at the third position. So dear students, as you can see that in the cross cancellation method, 3 and 6 they both can be divided by 3, because in the table of 3, 3 times 1 is 3 and 3 times 2 is 6. So easily we can cross cancel both the numbers. So 3 times 1 is 3, so we have to write 1 here, and 3 times 2 is 6, so we have to write 2 in place of 6. So now you can see that by multiplying the numerator with the numerator and denominator with the denominator, which fraction we can get? Yes, two upon 5 multiply by 2 upon 7. So now, as you know that 1 upon 1 means 1. So if we multiply 1 multiply by 2 and 1 multiply by 5, and the third fraction we have to write as it is in this way. 1 times 2 is 2 and 1 times 5 is 5. multiply by 2 upon 7. Now we can multiply these two fractions. So 2 multiplied by 2 because numerator will be multiplied by the numerator, and 5 multiplied by 7 because they both are the denominators. So 2 multiplied by 2 is 4 and 5 multiplied by 7 is 35. So dear students, did you see that if we have more than 2 fractions, then also we can exchange the place of the fractions and we can multiply it easily. So here you can see that when we multiplied 1 upon 3 by 6 upon 5 by 2 upon 7, so what did we get here? Yes, 4 upon 35. So it means that the commutative property of multiplication of fractions can be applied on the fractions as well as the whole numbers. Okay, so I hope, dear students, you have enjoyed our today's lesson because it's very much interesting. Let's end our lesson with this saying, the person who does the work is the only one who learns. Thank you all of you, my dear students. Take care. Allah Hafiz.